Okay, now folks, I'm sure you all would like to see a video on Nalanda, the so-called Nalanda. Now see, what I have experienced in chasing Huen Tsang across North India is that the Britishers, the British Orientalists who translated Huen Tsang, who from Chinese to English, they created a whole lot of words which weren't here on the ground, like Kushinagar, Bodh Gaya, what do you call it, these Lumbini, etc. Folks, you will realize that if you go according to Huen Tsang, Nalanda is also what do you call it, a slightly mistranslated and mispronounced word or name. Now let's start off. Huen Tsang Nalanda, number one, according to Huen Tsang, according to Zhang, Nalanda was 25 square kilometers or 20 square kilometers. Nalanda was 20 square kilometers, and on the northern tip of Nalanda, outside the western eastern boundary wall, was a 80-foot high statue of the Buddha. A 80-foot high, what do you call it, copper statue of the Buddha. Imagine it, folks. And basically there are around 18 villages that are involved in this Nalanda story, that are part of the sangramma, Nalanda Sanghdharma. So it's important to go according to Huen Tsang. It's important to go according to Huen Tsang because he came here 1300 years ago and he noted down what he saw. He noted down what he saw, and the Britishers, they translated his work into English. But when the translation took place and the search for the Buddhist spots took place, India wasn't mapped and there was no road or railways in India. So how did the Britishers decide what was what? Folks, it's very important, you know, a size and stature of Nalanda, the name should be on the ground. The land, the surrounding area also should be in its name. So here we go. This is our search for Nalanda. This video is long, I am warning you, because 16 villages are involved, folks. 16 villages are involved, which were all sangrammas of the famous Nalanda Sanghdharma. And I will be taking you to the famous 300 feet high Baladitya Raja Sangramma in Nalanda, which was the library, 300 feet high library, which was burnt by Bakhtiyar Khilji and the Muslims. So folks, be prepared for a shock. Nalanda, here is the book, Ki. We will start from Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, that is Horidih. This is unique, folks, unique about the translation. Huen Tsang writes that he went, the capital city was Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, and on the ground you have a village called Horidih. But the Orientalist Samuel Beal, who translated the book, preferred to call it Rajgir. So what do you call it, how he translated Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi as Rajgir, I don't know. Let's start with the book, folks. Thank you. To the northeast of the stone pillar, not far, we come to the town of Rajgir. Now, to the northeast of the stone pillar, not far, we come to the town of Rajgir. Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi. See, he writes the original word Huen Tsang used for Rajgiri. That is not Rajgiri, it's Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi. And Huen Tsang translates it as Rajgiri. Folks, Horidih, there is a village called Horidih around 20 kilometers west of Rajgir. That is Huen Tsangs Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, and this is the very important, as it was the real Rajgir which King Bimbisaras changed his capital from the mountain capital he had previously to Horidih. That is Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, not Rajgir. Now, why they translated it as Rajgir, I don't know. Folks, now let's see where it is in satellite pictures. This is your Horidih, Huen Tsangs Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, which was translated wrongly as Rajgir. See, Rajgir is here. Rajgir is here. And west of Rajgir is Huen Tsangs Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, and this is the springboard to find Nalanda. Folks, let's see what Huen Tsang has to say. Going north from this 30 li or so, we come to Nalanda. So going north from Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, that is your Horidih, or 30 li, that is 8 kilometers, we come to Nalanda Sanghdharma. The old accounts of the country say that to the south of this sangramma is in the middle of an Amra grove, there is a tank, folks. Now, to the south of this sangramma, in the middle of an Amra grove, in the middle of a grove, now that is what a bun means. That is what a grove means, is a bun in Bihari. There is a tank, the Naga of this tank is called Nalanda. So basically by the side of it is built the sangramma. So this is Mahmuda, folks. Let's see where it is. Nalanda Sanghdharma, 8 kilometers north of Horidih or Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, and let's see where it is. This is your Horidih, and you see the bar is here 2 kilometers. You can easily measure it. Horidih 8 kilometers north is Mahmuda. Mahmuda. Mudda means a topic of debate, and Maha means very important topic of debate. Folks, that is the name of the sangramma. And to the south of that sangramma, it got its name from a Naga who lived on a lake this lake was in an Amra grove. That is, to the south there should be a bun or one. This is one bag. One bag means garden. This was a forest type of garden. So this tallies with Huen Tsang. Mahmuda. See, it was a place of debates. Nalanda was a place of debates. Whoever entered had to debate with the gatekeeper, and if he won and the gatekeeper lost, he could enter the sangramma. So folks, this is Mahmuda, and Banbag is the the forest south, in which there was a lake in which a Naga lived, which gave the name Mahmuda. Thank you. Check out the drone of Mahmuda. There is a second view which will surprise the viewer. There is a second option. See, here you have Horidih. Horidih, now we are 8 kilometers north is Nalanda. So here you have, enlarge this. and when you enlarge it, it becomes Mahmuda. Huen Tsang says, in an Amra grove, that is Ban Bag. Ban is a grove, Ban is a grove, Bag is a grove. So one Bag in an Amra grove, in the next to a lake, a Naga used to live, whose name was Nalanda. Folks, this is knowledge, N-A-U-L-E-J. Nalanda, N-A-L, up here it is knowledge, N-A-U-L-E-J. This is not K-N-A-O-W-L-E-D-G-E, folks. This is N-A-U-L-E-J. Knowledge rock, what do you call it, the Britishers who translated Huen Tsang seems to have failed to understand why this was an English word. They must have thought this is an English word, and they went for Nalanda. Anyway, knowledge, imagine it. Now there will be a whole lot of research on this, and look at this. On top, above knowledge, you have Dhibri. This is a village. Dhibri means wicker lamp. Dhibri means wicker lamp. That means this village, see, for Nalanda had 10,000 students. Nalanda had 10,000 students. Now, for 10,000 students to study night and day, they needed lighting. This is Dhibri. Dhibri means wicker lamp. So there was an entire village, an entire factory sort of, to make wicker lamps, Dhibri. So folks, here you have knowledge rock. It is just next to that lake and this village. So Nalanda took its name from this Naga called knowledge, folks. Imagine it. Now, this is very interesting. 8 kilometers, what do you call it? Huen Tsang goes from Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi to, what do you call it, Dhibri. The village's name is Dhibri. Now this is very interesting because Huen Tsang, now Sangramma, a university for 10,000 monks, a university for 10,000 monks, yeah, where there was, education 24 hours a day. There was education, there was studying 24 hours a day. You needed wicker lamps. You needed wicker lamps, that is Dhibri. Folks, the first stop of Huen Tsang after Ho-li-shi-ki-li-hi, that is Horidih or Rajgir, what do you call it? The first stop is, what do you call it? Dhibri. Dhibri means wicker lights. You know those small lamps. So folks, where there was such a big sangramma, everything was well managed because it was managed by kings, supported by kings. You had to have a factory producing lamps so that the monks could study in the night. Folks, this is the village of Dhibri. Thank you. Now, Dhibri wasn't the name of the sangramma. Dhibri wasn't the name of the sangramma. Now, Huen Tsang goes on to say, the name of the sangramma was according to, south of Dhibri. South of Dhibri, there was a lake. The first sangramma was made there. The first sangramma was made there, and the sangramma took its name from a Naga who lived in the lake. The sangramma took its name from the Naga who lived in that lake. And folks, do you know who that Naga is? That Naga's name was knowledge. That Naga's name was most probably knowledge. Because south of Dhibri, what do you call it? Next to the lake, you have knowledge stone. Knowledge, that means, folks, most probably knowledge isn't a British word or an English word. It has its origins in India. It was the name of Nalanda. W-N-O-L, Nol, N-A-L, Nal, for Nalanda. N-A-L, Nal for Nalanda. N-O-L, Nol for knowledge. N-A-L, Nal for Nalanda. N-O-L, Nol for knowledge. So folks, now this village where the first sangramma was made on the banks of a lake, it is a Muslim village, and there is the most common name over there is knowledge. There is a knowledge rock over there, and so basically first I thought the real name of Nalanda was Mahmuda. First I thought the real name of Nalanda was Mahmuda, but now I see knowledge rock and a person with the surname knowledge. That means there's something. Knowledge wasn't a British word, it was an Indian word, folks. So this is you know, massive research is going to be done on this, because the word knowledge, Nalanda, N-A-L, Nal, N-O-L, Nol, knowledge, what do you call it? If that was the name of the university, that means the fame of this university spread so far, straight into, what do you call it? Straight into Europe, that the word knowledge came to mean knowledge, to have a lot of knowledge. See, there's no other word for it. Anyway, let's go on. What do you call it? According to Huen Tsang, this was the first sangramma, but the people also said that the first sangramma was a different one, which the Buddha, in his previous life, he was a Chakravarti Raja who had the habit of taking everyone's problems with him. So he, what do you call it, made the first sangramma. You can view that video, folks. You can view the video of Safaipur Harsingra. That is the first sangramma according to Huen Tsang. Safaipur Harsingra, when the Buddha was in his previous incarnation, he was a Chakravarti Raja. He would take all the problems of everyone, what do you call it, with him. So folks, enjoy the satellite picture. So going north from this 30 li or 8 kilometers from Horidih, we come to Mahmuda, that is your Nalanda. But that is the first sangramma. But according to Huen Tsang, by the side of, according to Huen Tsang, but in the olden days, by the side of it is built the sangramma, which therefore takes the name of the Naga. But the truth is that Tathagat in old days practiced the life of a bodhisattva here. The truth is that Tathagat in the old days practiced life of a bodhisattva here and became the king of a great country and established his capital in this land. Moved by the pity for living things, he delighted in continually relieving them. In remembrance of this virtue, he was called charity without intermission. Charity without intermission. And the sangramma, he was called charity without intermission, and the sangramma was called in perpetuation of this name. So the sangramma was called in perpetuation of this name, charity without intermission. Now let's see where it is. Your Mahmuda is here. Now charity without intermission, that is her. Her means every time. Her means every time. And sangharma, sangharma, to take everyone's problems. Sangharma means to sweep up, collect everyone's problems. So her sangharma means every time he would collect everyone's problems. And this is Safipur Har Singhara. Basically, the story goes that Huen Tsang narrates is that while they were cleaning up the place to make the sangramma, a Naga was hit and he started bleeding. So he said that, see, this place is very good. It is pure and the sangramma will do well, but as he bled, others will also spit blood. Folks, and this, prediction came out true. And finally, the sangramma was burnt. Anyway, we all know that, that's ancient history. Now, this is Safipur Har Singhara. Check out the video. Okay, now, folks. Now we are above, Safipur Har Singhara. Folks, Har Singhara sounds similar to Har Var Sanghdharma. Har Var Sanghdharma means to collect everyone's problems. This is, according to Huen Tsang, in his previous incarnation, the Buddha was a Chakravarti Raja who had the habit of collecting, sweeping up everyone's problems, taking up everyone's problems. So that's what Har Singhara means, Har Var Sanghdharma. So Safipur is basically when they were making this sangramma, they were cleaning up the place. A Naga was hit and he bled, and he gave a curse that the sangramma would do well, but just as he bled, others would bleed also. And that prediction came out true, folks. We all know that there was massive killing in Nalanda Sanghdharma, and as the King Naga said, that his prediction. Now south of Safaipur, Har Singhara is Har Singhara Madan Gopal. Har Singhara Madan Gopal, which Madan Gopal was the son of the king, the Buddha in his previous incarnation. He was a king and his son was Madan Gopal. So Madan Gopal followed on his father's footsteps, and to the south of Safaipur Har Singhara, he made a different sangramma, that is Har Singhara Madan Gopal. And then south of Har Singhara Madan Gopal, Sakraditya Raja made a sangramma. And then east of Har Singhara Madan Gopal is Madargaj Sangramma. Madargaj Sangramma. So it seems Madarganj and Madan Gopal, they sound very similar. Madarganj and Madan Gopal sound very similar, so it is a possibility it was the same person who made the sangramma. You can go ahead and view the satellite picture. His son Buddha Gupta Raja, 40 to Kyoto, who, see, the translator is just shooting out words, creating words. Photo Kyoto. So succeeded him, continued to labor at the excellent undertaking of his father. To the south of this, he built another sangramma. So the son, Buddhagupta Raja, continued in his father's footsteps of taking everyone's problems. He continued in his father's footsteps and taking everyone's problem. And to the south of this, he made a sangramma, folks. Let's see where it is. Now you have up here Safaipur, Harsingra, and this is Harsingra Madan Gopal. Harsingra because he continued in his father's footsteps. That was where the Buddha in his previous life was a king and he would take everyone's problems. And this is Harsingra, the Madan Gopal. This is where the, his son made a sangramma south of that, and where he also would take everyone's problems. Check out the drone video. So folks, enjoy the drone shot of Harsingra Madan Gopal. Now see, these are all villages now. Since time immemorial, for 2000 years, first they were ashrams, sangrammas. They were ashrams, they were sangrammas. And then, but people continued living in them. Like the British Orientalists, they had the concept that Buddhism was under the ground. No, it's not under the ground, it's on top of the ground. So you have this village, it is continuous settlement, people are still living here, and they are, in fact, the descendants are living here. The descendants of the students and of the, teachers, they are living here. So this is, and most of the population up here is, of the Kushwaha Kurmi caste, which in ancient times, according to me, they were the doctors, they were the Veds, they dealt in all herbs, etc., etc. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed the view of Harsingra Madan Gopal. Folks, this is Harsingra Madan Gopal for you. Thank you. Not long after the nirvana of Buddha, a former king of this country named Sakraditya Raja respected and esteemed the system of the one vehicle and honored very highly the three treasures. Having selected by augury a lucky spot, he built his sangramma. Now let's see where Sakraditya Raja's sangramma is. So you have Safipur, Harsingra, Madan Gopal, two of the main sangrammas. And then Sakraditya Raja, after the Buddha's death, made a sangramma, that is Simrauka. Simrauka is Sakraditya Raja, made by Sakraditya Raja. Ka means made by. So folks, this is made by Sakraditya Raja. Check out the drone footage. Tathagat Gupta Raja Tha Ki Lo Kyo Lo vigorously practiced the former rules of his ancestors, and he built east from this another sangramma. So he built east from Buddhagupta Raja, or Madan Gopal's sangramma. He built east of this another sangramma. Let's see where to the east of Harsingra Madan Gopal, what is the sangramma. This is Harsingra Madan Gopal. To the east is Madarganj. To the east is Madarganj. So, see, the names are very similar. This is Harsingra Madan Gopal and this is Madarganj. So, folks, this is made by that particular king. Check out the drone footage of this of Madarganj. Okay, now folks, see, there is drone footage of Madarganj. Basically, Madarganj was the son of the grandson of the Buddha in his previous incarnation as Chakravarti Raja. Now see this, the village in front of the screen is Madarganj, and just behind is Jethauna. That is the sangramma which Baladitya Raja made. See, there's a road in between and another village to the north of that. So that is. Now that you have seen the place where they made wicker lamps to study or throughout the night to supply lamps for the students and for lights in Nalanda, and then you have seen the lake and the place where the sangramma got its name, knowledge, in the name of the person who lived in the lake or lived on the banks of the lake. His name was Knowledge. Anyway, then you saw Safaipur, Harsingra Madan Gopal, and then Safaipur Harsingra, and then Simrauka, which was Sakraditya Raja's, Huen Tsang goes on to further to say that northeast of Simrauka, of Sakraditya Raja's Sangramma, is the sangramma which Baladitya Raja made. And this was the only sangramma where you didn't get respect according to your education and according to your knowledge. You got respect according to your age. You got respect according to your age. So folks, that is, Jethauna means eldest. Jethauna means eldest. So that is where you got respect according to age. So folks, you can view the satellite picture of Jethauna. Baladitya Raja Polo To Tito succeeded to the empire. On the northeast side, he built a sangramma. The work being done, he called together an assembly for congratulations. He respected equally the obscure and the renowned, and invited common folk and men of all religion without distinction. Two priests arrived. They were led them up the three-storied pavilion. Then they asked them, saying, the king, when about to call the assembly, first asked them of all degrees, from what quarter do your reverences come so late? They said, we are from the country of China. Our teacher was sick. Having nourished him, we set out to accept the king's far-off invitation. This is the reason why we have arrived so late. Now, Baladitya Raja was away when the Chinese came for his inauguration. So he rushes back. To make a long story short, he rushes back and realizes they have left. So he becomes a recluse. The assembly, hearing this, were filled with awe and knowing that they were holy persons, went himself to interrogate them. He mounted the pavilion, but he knew not where they had gone. The king then was affected by a profound faith. He gave up his country and became a recluse. Having done so, he placed himself as the lowest of the priests, but his heart was always uneasy and ill at ease. Formerly I was a king and the highest among the honorable, but now I have become a recluse. I am degraded to the bottom of the priesthood. Forthwith he went to the priests and said words to the above effect. On this the Sangha resolved that they who had not received the full orders should be classed according to their natural years of life, according to their age. This sangramma is the only one in which this law exists. Now, where was this sangramma? This was to the northwest, on the northeast side, on the northeast side of Simrauka. On the northeast side was this sangramma. Let's see where it is. See, here is Simrauka. Here is Simrauka, and to the northeast is Jethauna. Jethauna means eldest. So this is the sangramma where the eldest was given preference. So this is the sangramma where the eldest was given prestige according to his age and not according to his knowledge. And this is the only sangramma where this was the law, so that Baladitya Raja could be respected once again. Folks, check out the drone shot of this village. Thank you. So folks, this is Jethauna. Jethauna means the eldest. So this is the sangramma which where the eldest got respect not according to his knowledge but according to his age. And this is the sangramma where the Chinese came at the invitation of the king, folks. This is unique. Now that you have seen Jethauna, Huen Tsang goes on to say that Baladitya Raja's son, Samuel Beal mistranslates it as Vajra, but on the ground it is Vaida. So Baladitya Raja's son Vaida, he makes a sangramma to the west of Jethauna. So just a couple of kilometers to the west of Jethauna is just a couple of kilometers to the west of Jethauna is your Vaida sangramma. It sounds similar to Huen Tsang's Vajra or the mistranslated Vajra. No, that is Vaida. Imagine it. Look at the types of names you had those days. Vaida. Anyway, Vaida was the sangramma. The village is there. You can see it in satellite pictures. Now see, I'm just showing you the satellite pictures because if I show you the actual videos of me there, this video will become too long. Now the next one, this king's son. Now we saw Jethauna was the Baladitya Raja's sangramma. This king's son called Vajra came to the throne in succession and was possessed of a heart firm in the faith. He again built on the west side of the convent a sangramma. So he built on the west of his father's convent a sangramma. Now what was his name? The king's son called Vajra. Huen Tsang calls him Fi-she-lo. So Vajra of Fi-she-lo, let's see where is it? On the west side of Jethauna. Let's see where it is. See folks, here is Jethauna. To the west is Vaira. His son's name was Vajra. This is Vaira. Now the village is here, folks. And the name has popped up here. The villagers, they are not good at computers, and they are the ones who are filling up the names. So the name has popped here, the village is here. To the west of Jethauna is Vaira, and the village is on the sangramma. The village is on the sangramma, and this Vaira's palace, it's called a Gar, is just close by. You can now view the drone shot of the sangramma, which is the village of today, and the palace, which is close by, the Gar. Thank you. This is, folks, this is Vaira Sangramma made by Baladitya Raja's son. Now, folks, you have seen Vaira. Huen Tsang goes on to say that north of Vaira, South Indian king made a sangramma, and this South Indian king was special because he made the boundary wall around 20 kilometers of Nalanda's land space. He was the one who made the boundary wall and the gate. So he made this sangramma, and in the middle he put a life-size statue of the Buddha. In the middle he put a life-size statue of the Buddha. And after him, a lot of kings, he made more sangrammas in that area, in that sangramma, and after that, some more kings made sangrammas over there. So, you see, if you have a hell of a lot of sangrammas in a small place, it look, squeezed, it looks squashed. That is what kochra means. Kochra means squeezed. Kocha hua. So in a small area, a whole lot of sangrammas. Huen Tsang said it looked good, it looked pretty, it looked smart. But it was the word kochra. Kochra means squeezed. There were a whole lot of sangrammas squeezed into a small place. So folks, that is your kochra sangramma. Thank you. After this, after Vaira or Vaira, Huen Tsang says, after this a king of central India built to the north of this a great sangramma. Moreover, he built round these edifices a high wall with one gate. Now this South Indian king was the one who made the boundary wall around the Nalanda Sangrammas, all the Sangrammas. He made a boundary wall with a gate, high wall with one gate. Now a long succession of kings continued the work of building using all the skill of the sculptor, till the whole is truly marvelous to behold. So a line of kings made several sangrammas. The king said, in the hall of the monarch who first began the sangramma, I will place a figure of Buddha, and I will feed 40 priests of the congregation every day to show my gratitude to the founder. So, to the north of Vaira, he built a sangramma, and he was from central India. So, let's see where this sangramma is. This is Vaira, and to the north is Madarganj and Kochra. They are in one straight line, these three villages. Madarganj, Vaira and Kochra. Now, this is Kochara. Like, see, Kochara sounds South Indian, like you have Cochin and all. These are, Cochin is a major South Indian city. This is Kochara. And up here, Kochara means to stuff something, to stuff something. Now, a line of kings made several sangrammas here. So the sangrammas were stuffed in. Kochara means that. Kochara means to stuff in. So basically the line, and but though it was all the sangrammas were stuffed in that area, it looked marvelous, folks. So you can check out the drone picture of this village, the drone shot of Kochara. Folks, this is Kochara. You see below you is Kochara, which was the South Indian king's sangramma. Now, Huen Tsang takes us to the most important sangramma in knowledge or Nalanda, whatever you may want to call it. That is Mahmuda. Maha means very important, very tough. Mudda means topic of debate. So, this was the place where the debating took place. Day and night. Now see, this is the unique thing about Nalanda. All the other sangrammas which I showed you and which I will show you, that was for the students to study. That was for the monks to study in, to meditate in. But the debates took place in Mahmuda. Thank you, Huen Tsang. You did a wonderful job 1300 years after your death. You wrote such a book that we could differentiate what happened where. And folks, Mahmuda is important because, see, like the other places, most probably they were mud sangrammas. It's not necessary they were bricks. They were mud sangrammas. Like I think Jethauna was mud, is mud. The other sangrammas are mud. But this one is bricks because it's got all undulating mud mounds with bricks under it, folks. So enjoy the video of Mahmuda where the debating took place, and this is the place where you got either your respect increased or your respect decreased. Mahmuda Sangramma for you folks. Enjoy the satellite picture and photos. The rules of this convent are severe and the priests are bound to observe them. The countries of India respect them and follow them. The day is not sufficient for asking and answering profound questions. From morning till night, they engage in discussions. See, from morning till night, they engage in discussions. See, that's why you have north of Mahmuda a village called Dhibri. Dhibri means, wicker lamp. Wicker lamps, so that from morning till night they engage in discussions, in debates. The old, the young mutually help one another. Those who cannot discuss questions out of the Tripitaka are little esteemed and are obliged to hide themselves for shame. Learned men from different cities on this account who desire to acquire quickly a renown in discussion come here in multitudes to settle their doubts, and then the streams of their wisdom spread far and wide. For this reason some persons usurp the name of Nalanda and in going to and fro receive honor in consequence. So folks, this is Mahmuda. He's talking about Mahmuda, where the debates took place, where the discussions took place, and the discussions took place 24 hours, day and night, due to which just north of Mahmuda is that village called Dhibri, which made wicker lamps. Anyway, what you call it, Mahmuda means, Mahmuda means, Maha means very tough, very tough, and Mudda is subject of debate. Mudda is subject of debate and Maha is very tough. So it is a very tough subject of debate, and up here the debating takes place the whole day. So folks, this is unique because all the other sangrammas which I showed you, the people, study there. The people study there, but for the debating they come to Mahmuda. For debating they come to Mahmuda and they debate here, and this is where people increase prestige or decrease prestige in the sangramma as knowledgeable. So folks, this is your Mahmuda, sangramma, and you can now view Mahmuda in the satellite picture, and of course drone shot of the village itself as it is today. So this is Jethauna, that is Madarganj, that is Vaira, Jethauna's son, and that is Kochara, where there were a lot of sangrammas. And then now you have Mahmuda. Mahmuda, this is see, all these sangrammas, Kochara, Madarganj, Harsingra, Madan Gopal, Vaira, Jethauna, was for education. People studied here, and I think they studied medicine mostly. And the debates took place here. Mahmuda. Mudda means topic for debate. Mudda means topic for debate, and Mahan means very important, very tough topic of debate. So this is where the debating took place. See, in all these other places, it was for education. People educated, but the debating, the result of the education was winning a debate, and the debating took place here, folks. This is the unique thing about Nalanda, or this knowledge sangramma. Knowledge sangramma, and of course you have Dhibri up there. Dhibri up there. This was the place where they made wicker lamps for studying night and day, and for debates night and day, folks, so that there was enough light during night also. So this is your Mahmuda sangramma. Check up the drone shot of this sangramma. Below me is Mahmuda sangramma, where the debates took place. This is where all the debates took place, folks. This is where all the debates took place, and I'm here standing on one of the Now, Huen Tsang goes on to tell us that southwest of this Kur stupa is a stupa which pinpoints the place where a greedy bhikshu, he requests the Buddha that he become a Chakravarti Raja in his next life, in his other lives. So basically this bhikshu had done a lot of meditation. He had got a lot of who had done a lot of good deeds, and he had done a lot of meditation. So the Buddha says that he, because of his good deeds and his meditation, he will be a Chakravarti Raja, but he will not be he will not get the merit of a Buddha, and he will not be a Buddha in his future life. Folks, that is Sarthua. That is Sarthua. Sarthua, Swarthi means selfish. Swarthi means selfish. That is Sarthua Stupa. Now it's a village. The sacred relics on the four sides of the convent are hundreds in number. For brevity's sake, we will recount two or three. To the south, 100 paces or so, is a small stupa. This is the place where a bhikshu from a distant region saw Buddha. Formerly, there was a bhikshu who came from a distant region. Arriving at this spot, he met the multitude of disciples accompanying Buddha and was affected inwardly with a feeling of reverence, and so prostrated himself on the ground, at the same time uttering a strong desire that he might obtain the position of a Chakravarti monarch. Tathagat, having seen him, spoke to his followers thus: that bhikshu ought much to be pitied. The power of his religious merit is deep and distant, but his faith is strong. If he were to seek the fruit of Buddha, not long hence he would obtain it. But now that he has earnestly prayed to become a Chakravarti king, he has prayed for something selfish, he will in future ages receive this reward as many grains of dust. But he will become Chakravarti kings in all his lives, will share their be for reward. But having fixed his mind on earthly joys, the fruit of holiness is far off. But he won't be a Buddha, the fruit of holiness is far off. Now, this fellow was a greedy person, a self-centered person. For that, in Bihari language, it is Swarthi. Now, let's see where it is. This is Safipur, Harsingra, and Harsingra Madan Gopala. Where is the self-centered bhikshu? Here is the self-centered bhikshu, Sarthua. Swarthi means self-centered. Swarthi means self-centered. This is the stupa that represents the story of the bhikshu lying down and requesting the Buddha that in his next life and the other lives he become a Chakravarti Raja. So he was self-centered, and the Buddha said that he has done a lot of merit, so he would have become a Buddha, but since he is self-centered, he will become Chakravarti Raja, but he will not be a Buddha. That is Sarthua, that is Swarthi. Folks, now, let's see what else.
This is Sarthua Stupa, folks. This is Sarthua Stupa, where the greedy bhikshu requested the Buddha that he become a Chakravarti.
Now, the next one, Huen Tsangs says, on this southern side is a standing figure of Huen Tsangs Sai, Avalokiteshwar. Huen Tsangs Sai, Avalokiteshwar, Bodhisattva. Sometimes he is seen holding a vessel of perfume going to the Vihara or Buddha and turning around to the right. He is sometimes seen with a perfume going to the Vihara of the Buddha and turning around to the right. Now, let's see where that, Avalokiteshwar temple is. See, this is, this Sarthua is up here, and this Aprupi Mandir. Aprupi, like that Avalokiteshwar statue, looked as though it was turning to the right and going towards the Buddha's sangramma. So that is aprupi. It had its own, different, characters, this statue. So this is aprupi mandir, where the statue, it seemed as though he was turning and going with a bottle of perfume to the Buddha's sangramma. In fact, see, if I click on this, a photo of the temple should appear. Here it is, Aprupi temple, and I click on this. Here is the temple on the screen. Folks, this is the Aprupi temple, where this is your, Avalokiteshwar temple. See, the Buddhism hasn't disappeared from India. It is here in the nooks and corners. You have to find them. So this is the Avalokiteshwar temple, and in this there is a statue which seems as though it is taking a bottle of perfume and going towards the Buddha's sangramma. Now this is very important for the Buddhists, folks. This is very important for the Buddhists. South of Sarthua, according to Huen Tsang, is a stupa in which the Buddha's hair and nails are buried. South of Sarthua is a stupa in which the Buddha's hair and nails are buried. That is Baliyari, folks. Baliyari, Bal is hair. So Baliyari is the place where his hair and nails are buried. Thank you. You can view the satellite picture. To the south of this statue is a stupa in which are remains of Buddha's hair and nails cut during 3 months. So to the south of this statue, to the south of Aprupi temple and Swarthi, Sarthua, there is a stupa with the Buddha's hair and nails. Let's see where it is. That is Sarthua and Aprupi temple over there. To the south is the stupa which had the Buddha's hair and nails. This is Baliyari. Bal means hair. Folks. This is Baliyari. Bal means hair. So,
okay, now, folks,
check out the video.
Below me is Baliyari. This is the hair and nail stupa of the Buddha.
Now, to go on with Huen Tsang and Nalanda, see, these are all proofs of Huen Tsangs Nalanda. Now, to go on, Huen Tsang says that to the west of that statue is a stupa where a Brahman had a sparrow in his hand, and he was debating with the Buddha on life and death. That means he was teasing the Buddha. See, there is a stupa for that. That is Kur. Kur sounds similar to the Bihari word Krur, means cruel. The Kur sounds similar to the Bihari word cruel. Krur, which means cruel. So that stupa, it's still standing. You can see the satellite picture and a photo of it. To the west of this, by this he means Baliyari, with a stupa with the hair. Outside the wall and by the side of a tank is a stupa. This is where a heretic holding a sparrow in his hand asked Buddha questions relating to death and birth. See, to the west of this, to the west of statue of Avalokiteshwar, and by the side of a tank is a stupa. This is where a heretic holding a sparrow in his hand asked Buddha questions relating to death and birth. See, that heretic was doing something very cruel. He had a sparrow in his hand and discussing death and birth. So he was teasing the Buddha, who did not like such things. So that heretic was cruel. Now let's see where this cruel stupa is. See, this is the Aprupi temple, and this is Sarthua, the self-centered Bhikshu stupa, and this is the Avalokiteshwar temple. To the west is your Kur. To the west is your Kur, next to a tank. Remember, Huen Tsang writes next to a tank. So this is Kur. This is where the heretic discussed with the Buddha, life and death, with a sparrow on his palm. Check out the video and check out the drone picture.
Okay, now folks, the stupa in front of you, you can see the stupa. It's an Ashokan stupa. This is Kur stupa. This is the place where the Brahman, with a sparrow, teased the Buddha.
Now, after hair and nails stupa of the Buddha, southeast of that is the place where the Buddha, he was, he threw his Datman on the ground and it became a pair of trees. Now, what is a Datman? Datman is the stick which you brush your teeth with. Generally, in Bihar, people would go and take, break off a twig from a branch and brush their teeth with that. That is called Datman. And they would wipe their tongue with that, scrape off the muck from the tongue with that. And the Buddha, when he threw that on the ground, they germinated and became two trees. That is Laliari. Laliari means to wipe off the muck from the tongue. Laliari means to wipe off the muck from the tongue. So that is the place where the Buddha's tongue wiper germinated and became two trees. Now this place is very important, folks, because just south of it was the boundary wall. Just south of it was the boundary wall, and if you see just west of it is the southern gate, the single gate of Nalanda, that is Kevri. Kevri means door. Kevri means door. Folks, you can view the videos in the satellite picture. Now from Kur, where the heretic, cruel heretic teased the Buddha stupa. Let's see where Huen Tsang takes us. To the southeast, about 50 paces within the walls. Now within the boundary wall is an extraordinary tree about 8 or 9 feet in height, of which the trunk is twofold. When Tathagat of old time was in the world, he flung his tooth cleaner, Dantrakshak, on the ground here, where it took root. Although many months and years have elapsed since then, the tree neither decreases nor increases. Now let's see where this tree is. It is to the southeast of Kur. And this is with what he was brushing his teeth, the stick with which he was brushing his teeth, he threw it and it became a tree. Now to brush your teeth and clean your tongue, it's called Laliari. Now let's see where this Laliari tree is. Here is Kur, where the cruel heretic had a sparrow on his palm, and he teased the Buddha by discussing life and death with him. Now to the southeast is, what do you call it? To the southeast is the place where the Buddha threw his laliyari, or his teeth washing stick, and it grew up to be a tree. This is laliyari. This is the place where the tree, and what is important, it was 125 feet within the boundary wall. It was 125, so archaeologists now know where to search the southern boundary wall of the Nalanda Sanghdharma or Mahmuda Sangramma. That was the real name, folks. This is Laliyari. Check out the video. Then Huen Tsang goes on to say that, Huen Tsang goes on to say that there was a statue, there was a statue where sometimes it was near the door, sometimes it was near the window. Whenever you looked at it, it seemed, from whichever angle you looked at it, it seemed the statue was looking at you. That is Pachmukhiya, folks. To imagine it, Pachmukhiya, and I think Huen Tsang says it's an Avalokiteshwar statue. Anyway, Pachmukhiya means 5 faces. 5 faces means faces all around, north, south, east, west, and up. 5 faces, folks. That's the statue. The temple is still there. View the satellite picture of the temple. After this, to the north, 100 paces or so, is a vihara, in which is a figure of Kwan Zizai Bodhisattva, that is your Avalokiteshwar. The disciples of pure faith who offer their religious gifts do not all see the place he occupies alike. They do not see all the place he occupies alike. It is not fixed. It isn't fixed. Sometimes he seems to be standing by the side of the door. Sometimes he goes out in front of the eaves. Religious people, both clerics and laics from all parts, come together in numbers to offer their gifts. So this statue of Avalokiteshwar, sometimes it's here and sometimes it's there, sometimes it's near the window, sometimes it's near the door. So it had several faces. It faced several. That is Pachrukhiya, folks. That is Pachrukhiya temple over there. I will show you. So here you have Harsingra, Madan Gopal, Safipur Harsingra, Sarthua. This is Pachrukhiya. Pachrukhiya means 5-faced. This is a small temple on the side of the road, folks. But there is an entire village dedicated to this temple, which is its name is Pachrukhiya. So this temple is in the side of the road, a small temple, and Pachrukhiya means 5 different directions. 5 different directions. So that is the Avalokiteshwar statue, which was sometimes near the door, sometimes near the window. But it was always facing different directions. So check out the drone footage of this Pachrukhiya temple. Now that you have seen Pachmukhiya temple, Huen Tsang goes on to say that north of this was Baladitya Raja's sangramma. Baladitya Raja's sangramma, 300 feet high sangramma. Now, folks, this is the sangramma which the Muslims, burnt, and which was the 300 feet high library with all sorts of books which Huen Tsang had seen. And Huen Tsang had left This is the place where Huen Tsangs used to stay in Baladitya Raja Sangramma. And this sangramma has a different story, folks, a Tibetan story. When Bakhtiyar Khilji attacked and was burning the sangramma, this Tibetan, he goes by the Hindi name of Dharma Vasvin. He took the chief abbot on his shoulder. He took the chief abbot on his shoulder, and the chief abbot kept telling him, Videsi bhago, Videsi foreigner, go run. Foreigner, go run, don't worry about me, don't worry for me, you go run, save yourself. But the Tibetan, he was not one to leave his, guru. He took his guru on his back and he ran 14 kilometers south to Jethona. Jethona is Baladitya Raja Sangramma. Now this proves, why did the Tibetan run from one Baladitya Raja Sangramma to the other Baladitya Raja Sangramma? Because most probably the proprietorship of both the Sangrammas were the same. They were the same people, Baladitya Raja. This is proof of that. Anyway, he went and deposited the chief abbot in Jethona, and he did his final studies over there, and he left his abbot over there and left Nalanda after he finished his education. They would, hide from the Muslims and, continue education. Anyway, and then north of so folks, you can view Bardaha, which is the 300 feet high sangramma which was burnt. Now let's see what is north of Pachrukhia temple. To the north of this vihara is a great vihara in height about 300 feet, which was built by Baladitya Raja. With respect to its magnificence, it was built by Baladitya Raja. With respect to its magnificence, its dimensions, and the statue of Buddha placed in it, it resembles the great vihara built under the Bodhi tree. So this vihara resembled the great vihara built under the Bodhi tree. It was 300 feet high. This is the the library which Huen Tsang writes about, which was 300 feet high and which was burned down by Bakhtiyar Khilji during the Islamic invasion. Folks, check out the satellite picture where it is. It was to the north of Pachrukhia. Here is Pachrukhia. Now where is Baladitya Raja's 300 feet high sangramma? It was north of Pachrukhia, is there. Baladitya Raja, Bardaha. Now Barda, his actual name was Bardaha. Barda. Ha has two meanings. Either it means ashes, or it means to donate. Swaha, Bardaha. Now so this is the sangramma which was burned down to ashes, and this was built by Baladitya Raja, folks. Now let's see where, check out the drone picture of this video of this place.
Below me is, folks, Bardaha. Below me is Bardaha. See, that is Bardaha. It was the sangramma which the Muslims burnt.
Now, north of that, Bardaha is a high Avalokiteshwar statue or Tara statue. I don't remember it. Yes. And south of that is is now this is unique, folks. This is unique. A copper sangramma which the king failed to complete. 100 feet copper sangramma which the king failed to complete. That is Panhad Kharij, folks. Panhad means to put a layer, like in our sweet shops in India today. When you have those sweets, the what do you call it? The chef who makes the sweets, he puts a layer of gold paper, that is called panni. He puts a layer of gold paper which is called panni onto the thing to make it look more attractive, onto the sweet. So that sangramma had a layer of copper, panni, panhar. Panhar means to fail to complete layering the copper on it. Panhar means to fail to complete laying the copper on it. So folks, the village's name is Panhad Kharij. Panhad Kharij. Kharij means to cancel the program. Partly he put a layer of copper on the walls of the sangramma, but he couldn't complete it. It was cancelled, and when Huen Tsang visited the place, it was already cancelled. So folks, view the place of the satellite picture of Panhad Kharij. Now let's see where Huen Tsang takes us to after Baladitya Raja's 300 feet high vihara. To the northwest is a place where the 4 past Buddhas sat down, and then to the south of this is a vihara of brass. So to the south of this is a vihara of brass built by Siladitya Raja. Although it is not yet finished, yet its intended measurement when finished will be 100 feet. So from Baladitya Raja's place to the northwest is a place where the 4 Buddhas sat. But to the south of that is a vihara made of brass. Imagine it, folks. Vihara made of brass, but it was unfinished. Although it's not yet finished, it was unfinished, yet its intended measurement when finished will be 100 feet. That is Panhad Kharij. Kharij means, Kharij means unfinished. Matlab cancelled. So they cancelled constructing it, because when Huen Tsang came, they had already cancelled constructing it. Let's see where it is in satellite picture. See, this is your Bardaha, the 300 feet high. To the northwest is the place where the 4 Buddhas sat. That is, I think it will be Parsarai. Sarai is a place where someone stays. Sarai is a place where, so this is where the place where the 4 Buddhas sat. Now south of that is, Panhad Kharij. Panhad Kharij. Now what is Panhad? Panhad means, you see the sweet shops, Indian sweet shops, they put a small thin layer of foil on the sweets, silver or golden foil or silver foil on the sweets. That is panni. That is panhad. So this sangramma, which was supposed to be made 100 feet, it had a layer, it had a coating of brass around it. So this is the brass sangramma, which Kharij means cancelled, whose construction was stopped or was cancelled. Folks, the name has popped up here, the village is here. The name has popped up here, the village is here. Because the next one is...
Now behind me, see, is the mud mound in Panhar Kharij, that mud mound will most probably have the 100 feet copper sangramma which the king failed to make.
Now that you have seen a video, the satellite picture of Panhar Kharij, see, these are all proof of Nalanda Sanghdharma. What you call it? 500 feet east. 500 feet east, actually 200 paces east of Panhar Kharij, of the 100 feet copper coated sangramma, was a 80 feet high copper statue of the Buddha. Was a 80 feet high copper statue of the Buddha. Imagine it, folks. Alexander Cunningham, to prove the Nalanda we know, to prove the Nalanda we know was the real Nalanda, he searched for this copper statue and he couldn't find it because he was searching in the wrong place. And then what you call it, folks, that copper statue is 500 feet east of Panhar Kharij. The village name is Panhar. Panhar is the village name. It was in ancient times a sangramma, and the statue is, folks, today it is a graveyard, a Muslim graveyard. The 80 feet high statue is a Muslim graveyard. I will show you a photo of the graveyard. And basically this is a dicey thing because generally Muslims don't cooperate. Muslims don't cooperate. So folks, view the satellite picture and the photo of the graveyard where the 80 feet Buddha statue is kept. Next, to the eastward 200 paces or so outside the walls, now this is outside the walls, is a figure of Buddha standing upright and made of copper. Its height is about 80 feet. An 80 feet copper Buddha statue, folks. A pavilion of 6 stages is required to cover it. It was formerly made by Purnavarma Raja. Purnavarma Raja, that is Panhar, folks. Purnavarma is Panhar. Its height is about 80 feet. It's made out of copper, and and it is outside the boundary wall, eastern boundary wall of the Nalanda Sanghdharma. So this is also very important, so that the archaeologists know where to find the boundary wall. So this is an 80 feet copper statue of the Buddha built by Purnavarma Raja, that is Panhar. Purnavarma Panhar. Let's see in satellite pictures. This is Panhar Kharij up here. The name is there, Panhar Kharij, but the place is here. 200 paces to the east. 200 paces means around 500 to 600 feet to the east is Panhar, made by Purnavardhan Raja. Panhar Purnavardhan Raja. Panhar Purnavardhan, his name was actually Panhar. Folks,
now folks, I'm sure you are dying to see the 80 feet Buddha statue made out of bronze. Folks, it's in this cemetery. See the undulating mud mounds in this cemetery. It's a Muslim cemetery. See the undulation. It's like, you can see the mud going up. See all that mud is covering 80 feet high, bronze Buddha statue. Folks, it is under this cemetery. See, it's all undulating mud mounds, and it's a huge cemetery. And
now, folks, let's round up this entire thing of Nalanda. It was known as knowledge, folks. Knowledge or Mahmuda. The name was either Mahmuda or knowledge, and imagine it. Knowledge may not be a British word, folks. This is a topic of research. Anyway, either it was Mahmuda or knowledge, and what do you call it, south of those two, what do you call it, the 80 feet high sangramma, the 80 feet high Buddha copper Buddha statue was the single gate in the boundary wall. South of that, basically, Huen Tsang doesn't show you, take you to the gate, but it takes you to a well next to the gate. A well next to the gate where the Buddha, in his, what do you call it, there were some merchants who were very thirsty and were desperate to drink water. So the Buddha tells them to take the axle of their cart and slam it on the ground. And they did that, and water spurted out. So that is just next to the door. The doorway, and the doorway is Kevri. Kevri means the door. The doorway, the Kevri means the door, folks. Enjoy the satellite photo, the drone photo of the village, which was the door. Today it is a thing by Bhumiyar Brahmins. They were the doormen. Their ancestors migrated from Aure Parsama villages of Lakhisarai. Their ancestors, migrated from Aure Parsama village of Lakhisarai. So Aure Parsama village also now comes under scrutiny, because they supplied the gatemen of Nalanda who questioned the newcomers and debated with them, and only if the newcomer won the debate with them was the newcomer allowed to enter the sangramma. Now, so folks, enjoy the video, the photo, and the photo of the drone footage of the gate. Now this is very important, the gate. Within the southern gate of the wall is a large well. Formerly, when Buddha was alive, a great company of merchants parched with thirst, they were very thirsty, parched with thirst, came here to the spot where Buddha was. The Lord of the world, pointing to this place, said, "You will find water there." The chief of the merchants, piercing the earth with the end of the axle of his cart, immediately water rushed out from the ground. Having drunk and heard the law, they all obtained the fruit of holiness. So this was within the southern gate of the wall. It was just next to the gate. Within the southern gate, it was next to the gate. So let's see where this place is. See, that is Panhar Kharij, and Panhar, the 80 feet high copper Buddha statue. Now he goes down to the gate. See, this is Kevri. We in Lakhisarai, in Munger area, we call it Kewadi. See, different dialects. This is Magadhi dialect. Maghi dialect, which you call Magadhi dialect. It's Kevri. In our area, it's Kewadi. This means door. This means gate. So this is the gate of, the sangramma. And proof that this was the gate is Sukharan Bigha. See, those parched merchants who came to the Buddha, and he told them to that where to find they will find water. So they took their cart's axle and hit the ground, and water spurted out, and a well was formed. So this is Sukharan. Sukharan means Sukha is dry, parched, and haran is to quench someone's thirst. So sukharan means to quench someone's parched thirst. Sukharan tola of Kyori. Madam, this is a part of Kyori, which is the door. So this is the doorway. Check out the drone shot of the area which was the doorway. It is now a village. The archaeologists
Okay, now folks, we all know that Nalanda had a gate on the southern wall, folks. This is it. Kevadi means door. Kevadi means door, folks, and the boundary wall was from here. Now it's up to the archaeologists to come and check up this village. This is Kevadi, and most of the residents are Bhumiyar.
Now, folks, what did you learn?
Folks,
what did you learn from this? See, what I learned was most of the inhabitants of these sangrammas, it was in Jethauna, it was in Vaira, it was in Kochra, it was in Madarganj, it was in Harsingra, Madan Gopal, it was in Safaipur, Harsingra. All these sangrammas is populated today by the Kushwaha Kurmi caste. Kushwaha caste. They were the doctors, they were the Vaids, folks. Nalanda's main topic of knowledge was actually indirectly, it hasn't been mentioned, but according to me, I think not Nalanda knowledge or it was a medical college, folks. It was a medical college because there is a village called Pachmahla. Pachmahla means it was Ashoka's thing. Ashoka died of indigestion. So all his palaces are named Pachmahla. Pach means digestion. Pach means digestion. Because he died of indigestion. Now Pachmahla, there is a Pachmahla in the middle. It is next to Mahmuda. And it is next to Mahmuda, folks. So, that is the unique thing. Nalanda actually most probably was a medical college. Plus, it had other topics of research and education. But most importantly, its knowledge was medicine, folks. Thank you. That is my research, my thought, my views. I may be wrong.